Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going?
Happy Monday.
Yes, here we are. I'm going to just adjust the camera real quick here. There we go.
My mug. Poor things.
Luckily, they've got the four very heroic, handsome visages of these four Starfleet captains. So, you know, it kind of offsets looking at us for the next little bit.
The two red shirts.
Exactly. We're just, we're red shirts, but we're in our off hours,
yeah.
So. Panic Roll, how's it going? And, Casher, I don't think I missed your comment about Stargate. I'm a huge Stargate fan, but that is very clearly the Starfleet symbol. Or an approximation thereof, at the very least. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you very much for tuning in. We're starting off with a bit of a geek out. Now, we are supposed to, based on, I think it was Cheeky Ellie last week, who asked us to geek out about Star Trek and sci-fi in general. We will get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But first, there's something that I feel we need to discuss just in passing, and we'll talk probably more about it next week. The Joker trailer. Joaquin Phoenix. I have thoughts. Samson has thoughts.
Yes.
Would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah, so I kind of feel like he was made for this role after watching that. Like, he fits it really well. But at the same time, like, I'm really, really worried the way they're kind of setting it up. Like, I don't know if I want him to be, like, I understand he's a product of, like, society and whatever, but they're kind of setting him up to be kind of heroic, and I did not like the direction that was going at all. Like, I really hated that. Like, I was like, that's not my Joker.
Yeah, and I hate that, you know, hashtag not my Captain Marvel and all that crap. But I completely agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
I love Joaquin Phoenix in the role, and watching the trailer made me want to watch the movie. I think it's going to be a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's going to be a terrible Joker origin story.
Yeah.
I think if it was for any other character, if it was for a completely original character, I would be down like a clown, pun intended, to watch that movie. But the fact that it's leading up to him being the Joker, i.e. Batman's arch nemesis, I just don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes him too sympathetic and relatable. And the Joker isn't supposed to be someone that you feel is, you know, a good person who just, you know, terrible things happen to them and they finally snapped. The Joker is supposed to be a force of nature. He rolls into Batman's world without any background, without any explanation, without any history, and he just starts destroying stuff. He's an agent of chaos. And the second you define him, one, it robs him of that chaos, and two, it makes it harder to just look at him as being just evil.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, because he's a product of other evils. And
right.
No, don't do that. He is the evil incarnate. Like, he's the...
Exactly.
Alfred, I believe, summed it up. Some people just want to watch the world burn. That's what he should be.
Yep. He doesn't need to have a defined backstory, which I think in the comics, like, they've tried writing different origins, and they've all been kind of variations on a similar theme, but none of them have ever really stuck. None of them have really truly ever resonated with the readers, and I think that's because he's not supposed to have a backstory.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to know. He's just supposed to be crazy.
And I think that's why Ledger's worked really well in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know, aside from all the other stuff attached to him with, like, his death and stuff, but, like, he literally just showed up and was like, I'm here to save everything by destroying everything.
Yeah.
And he never explained it. And every time he's like, how I get these scars, it was always a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the Joker. Yeah, I don't know, but there was some really great visual stuff. There was, like, a part where he had, like, his shirt off and he was, like, arching his back really weird. Like, that was so creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that kind of stuff, and I like the aesthetic of it, but I really don't like... And it looks like there's kind of a love interest between him and maybe, what's her name? Why can't I think of her name right now? From Deadpool. She played Domino.
Oh, Zazie Beetz.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, it looked like maybe they were kind of setting up this, like, love story thing, and maybe that's going to be the trigger for him to go crazy, and I really don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. Again, it looks like a great movie, and I'm definitely going to see it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just, for me, it's going to be like so many other DC movies where it's disconnected from all the other stuff. Yeah. It's just going to be a standalone.
Well, I think they said it was like that. It was the plan. Ooh,
yeah, they might have. Yeah, sorry, we kind of ignored chat. We got into it there. Joker needed another actor to own the role. Panicle, do you mean that you don't think Joaquin Phoenix is a good fit? And Cheeky Ellie, yeah, Agents of Chaos are best left a mystery. Casher says, I don't want him to have any sort of sympathetic background. He works best as an unknown.
Yep. Agree 100%.
I'm still going to watch it, though. Yeah, I'm still going to watch it. Panicle says, I think Zazie is going to be Harley Quinn. Now, actually, that would be an interesting twist.
I like that, yeah.
I would like, because she did so well with Domino, I could see her doing well with Harley Quinn, who's a little bit more in the zany category than Domino, but I think it would fit.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean, Panicle. Like, you mean after Heath Ledger, there needed to be another actor to show up to really own the role of the Joker. And I can agree with you. I think Joaquin Phoenix is probably that guy. I did not like Jared Leto's Joker at all.
Oh, yeah, that was not good.
Like, he was a weird juggalo. Anyways, let's not get on that. Cashra says... Cashra makes an Archer reference. Says, it's like Stir Friday. The joke only works because you don't know what Cyril had previously used. And I can agree with that. So, for those of you who haven't watched Archer, there's this great joke in the very first episode where Archer, the main character, shows up to talk to the kind of nerdy accountant named Cyril, and he's like, "Hey, I need your help." And Cyril says, "Oh, sorry, I can't do anything because I'm busy tonight. It's it's Friday, and every Friday we do stir fry. Guess what we call it?" And Archer's like, "Stir Friday," and Cyril's response is, "Man, that's much better." But they never tell you what Cyril had called it before that, and that's the reason the joke works so well. Is because they never tell you. Ellie, I can agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of the Joker-Harley dynamic either. I think it is way too reminiscent of abusive relationships, and it glorifies it and romanticizes it in a lot of really problematic ways. What I do kind of like is what they've done, with what a lot of writers have done with Harley Quinn, where they've really kind of made her grow out of that and into her own character who's kind of stronger for having gone through those things. Not that she should have had to go through those things to be a strong character, but they spun it and they I think they salvaged it as far as the Harley Quinn character goes, because she's not that codependent, oh, Mr. J type character anymore. She's her own thing.
You're the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. She was introduced in The Adventures of Batman, right?
Yeah.
The anime.
Yeah. I think she was the first comic book character that was introduced to an existing universe in a cartoon and then got written into the comic book universe because people loved her so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I hope they kind of stay away from that dynamic. Although I do really like the idea of maybe Zazie Beetz playing her, because that would be kind of awesome. But
yeah,
I really do hope they stay away from it.
Me too. And
pizza. Yeah.
Ellie says the Joker movie won't give her those props. Yeah, I can agree with that, because it's about the Joker. That movie's about the Joker. You can't have the Joker being the Joker and then have Harley Quinn kind of escape from his influence, because it undermines his weirdly charismatic, crazy, personality. Casher says the same people who romanticize that also do it with 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, I can agree with that. Ugh.
I do think there's a way to have them exist together without the abuse, though. There's got to be a way that it works. Like, I haven't really seen it a whole lot, but there's got to be a way where it's
right. Because
I do like them together. I just don't like that relationship, because it's the wrong message.
Yeah,
really. It's for a comic. It's kind of weird to
like if they'd written it in a more of a platonic way, or in a way where it was like just the doctor-patient relationship, but flipped on its head with no sexual or romantic,
right.
Like overtures. I think that would have been perfect. I think that would have been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like a woman being treated like crap by a dude, which is never fun, but at the very least it takes that like hopeless romantic aspect out of it, and it's just purely, him manipulating her through force of personality. It makes it a little bit better, and I don't know about much, but a little bit. Anyways, Let's move on from the Joker, because we said it was going to just be a minute, and it's been 10. So let's geek out about what we're really here for today, and that is sci-fi. Ellie, I think you had requested this last week, so please feel free to chime in. The background splash image is of 4 very famous sci-fi captains from the Star Trek universe, but that is not all we're going to talk about tonight. But let's start off with Star Trek. Favorite captain? Why?
I have to go Picard just because I kind of grew up with him.
Okay.
But that's probably my second favorite series. But Picard's he's brilliant, man. He's just cool.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of Kurt. Like the sexy, charismatic, and he's just smart and like cool and collected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like Picard is the hyper professional captain, but he does it while also being compassionate and intelligent and wise and everything like that. And I agree. I think Picard is a better captain than Kirk.
Yeah.
I know, Mom. I love you. I think my mom's probably a Picard fan.
They are all awesome, though. I don't hate any of them.
They are, yeah.
I think they're all great.
Even Janeway, and I'm not a huge fan of Voyager for a variety of reasons, but at least the character of Janeway she was a good captain.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, writing issues aside, I liked Janeway as a captain. But my favorite is Sisko. And I know technically he starts off as a commander, but let's not split hairs, people.
Yeah.
He is the commanding officer of Deep Space Nine, therefore he is a captain from this perspective.
Yes.
But Sisko was a badass. I love him.
Deep Space Nine's hands down far and above my favorite.
Yep.
Like it just dealt with so much darker, realistic. Loved it.
And for me, it's not necessarily darker, realistic, although I agree with you. I liked the fact that it was a really cohesive, like, evolving storyline. Like, there were very few standalone episodic episodes where they were like, hey, some weird monster of the day shows up, and they deal with it, and then the next week they forget about it. Like, it really did a good job of building on all the relationships, not just for the crew, but also, like, ancillary characters, the different races and planets that were involved, and it all culminated with the Dominion War, which was just so compelling. It was so good. Let's see.
It was a really cool concept, them taking we voyage somewhere and see it, as opposed to we're stuck in space and people are coming to us type of thing.
Yeah.
That was really awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the things, and a lot of people, actually speaking on that point, a lot of people will be like, Deep Space Nine isn't real Star Trek because there's no trek, they're not exploring, they're not going places. And you're right. From an in-universe perspective, they are kind of stuck stationary. Pun intended. But they were exploring the universe. They were giving the viewers a greater look at not just the far-flung reaches of that Gamma Quadrant and all this other stuff, but like these are the real politics and issues that the Federation has to deal with. Yeah. And you got to see it at this nexus of all these different races that had, hostile histories with each other, or who were just showing up for the first time in the case of not the Jem'Hadar, but the people who ran the Jem'Hadar, the Dominion. And so with the wormhole there and everything like that, it had a lot of potential for that exploration side, but it also really helped them dive further into just analyzing, relationships on a galactic scale, which the Next Generation I don't think ever really got the chance to truly do. Yeah. They had a few subplots with the Borg thing where they were dealing with that threat, but they didn't really get deep into these are the Romulans and these are who they are and this is why they believe what they believe. They didn't have a whole lot of recurring Romulan characters, except for the Tasha Yar clone sister, whatever she was. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, it really gave you a glimpse into what the actual presence of Starfleet meant to other races.
Yep.
It wasn't just we showed up, we saved the day, we're out. Like, you got to see what happened after the day was saved and whatever.
And to a certain extent, I kind of appreciate the fact that Deep Space Nine didn't have to give a damn about the Prime Directive.
Yeah. Everybody
already had space flight. They already knew what was going on. They didn't have to worry about treading carefully and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, I think it makes for some great storytelling where you have to go in and save this group of people and their planet and all this stuff without alerting them to Starfleet's existence and space flight and all this other stuff. But by taking that away and just kind of having them deal with everybody on an equal technological footing, I just felt like it made for some much more dynamic, much more tense kind of subplots. So
definitely. What do you guys think? What's your guys' favorites?
Panic Girl says Battlefield promotion. That's true, yeah. Sisko did get a Battlefield promotion. I'm pretty sure his ship, the name of which I forget, blew up because Locutus of Borg, Picard when he was a Borg, I'm pretty sure he blew it up. And that's Cisco's CO died on the ship, and then he got promoted to where he was. If I remember correctly. Let me know if I'm wrong, Panagirl. Ellie says the stories and cultures came to them, and they didn't just spend a tiny bit of time and then peace out. Yeah, exactly. Just like Samson said.
Yeah.
The show up, save the day, and okay, we've got a 2:00 appointment. We'll see you guys later,
Yep.
and then forget all about that, particular group of people. That being said, I do think that Star Trek: The Next Generation did a great job of showing those, of doing the kind of the episodic format where they highlighted individual characters and their dynamics between some of the characters, because they had a great cast. LeVar Burton as Geordi. You had what's her name is Deanna Troi. What is it? Marina Sirtis. That's right. What's his name? I was gonna say Dolph Lundgren as Worf, but that's not him. Michael Dorn as Worf. I love him. Dolph Lundgren as Worf.
That is not my Star Trek.
No, definitely not my Star Trek. I wouldn't know. I'm a fan of Trek, but not a big fan. Nor do I know much about the lore. Brent Spiner is Data. Yes, I love Data. Honestly, I think the Data-focused episodes of Next Generation were probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Where they were like, when he got the emotion chip and it would malfunction, or he'd have to turn it off so that he could do his job. Actually, Star Trek First Contact, moving into the movie side of things a little bit, with the Borg when they go back in time.
Okay.
There's that really great moment where Data gets captured by the Borg, and they do this weird thing where they graft actual skin onto his arm.
Oh,
and the Borg Queen blows on the hairs on his arm, and he's just it's such a good moment, and Brent Spiner just nails it. I love him as Data. But yeah, so I definitely liked Next Generation. I really love Deep Space Nine. Voyager, nah, it's kind of out on that.
I mean, I liked it. I watched it, but not regularly. That was kind of around the time when I was too busy trying to be young and do stupid stuff, and I didn't really have time to sit at home and watch stuff, so I didn't really get the full scope of it, but from what I did see, I liked it.
Right.
But
I think for me, I didn't watch a lot of it either. I don't know what I was doing that distracted me, because, at the time, my entire life, nerdy stuff has been my whole life. But for whatever reason, Voyager just didn't catch me as much as Deep Space Nine. And I think the few episodes that I did catch, they were very, very similar themes. And I know this is a trope, you'll have to forgive me, but this is what I remember. The holodeck malfunctioning. And for me, it seemed like every single episode. Because
just turn it off.
Right, just turn it off. Just jettison the entire holodeck into space. I think it's because it was just bad timing where I would tune in and find, the holodeck as being the center of that story. But I don't know. It just stuck with me.
The premise for Voyager was they couldn't come back, right? They were kind of stuck.
So the premise was they basically got launched really far into Delta Quadrant, which is completely unexplored space, and they were really far away,
40,000 light years.
40,000 light years.
Nice.
My wife is a huge Voyager fan. And so, getting back was problematic, because even at maximum warp, it would take a while for them to get there. A maximum allowable warp. If they had gone maximum warp, then that might have worked, but it also would have been violating all kinds of different Starfleet regulations. It would have threatened the space-time, the fabric of space-time, and all that other standard science fiction
stuff.
stuff.
Folded it in on itself.
Yeah, exactly. Cashier says blow on it. Yeah, take the little chip out of the holodeck and...
for Nintendo's.
Right? And the Nintendo basically was a holodeck when you get right down to it. Casher liked the episodic nature of Voyager. Yeah, I can totally see that. And it did, to be fair, it did give the writers the ability to kind of do whatever the hell they wanted, because it was a part of space that had never been explored by the Federation before, and so it was a completely blank slate.
Right.
And I think that's probably why I was kind of disappointed with it when they fell back on the holodeck issues and they brought the Borg into it, and I was just like, but these are issues for the prime, Starfleet to deal with. And granted, the Borg can be wherever the hell they want to be. They're, this parasitic technological race, but I don't know. It felt like they took like one of the coolest villains from the main show, and they were like, "This will make our show interesting." And it's like, no, your show can be interesting on its own.
Right,
Do your
you don't
own
need to
thing.
do that, yeah.
So yeah, that was just. Although I guess that did give me the opportunity to bring in 7 of 9, and she was like a huge hit with the male viewers.
Yeah.
Which to be fair, I'm not sure why. She's pretty.
A
But...
couple of her autograph lines at like cons and
Yeah.
stuff, and people go nuts for her.
And she's pretty, and I'm sure she was a great actress, but I didn't think she was that, like...
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways. Casher says it was certainly more lighthearted than the other flavors. That's fair. And I think there's something to be said for that. Like, not all Trek has to be Deep Space Nine dark, like war stories and people dying and stuff like that. It can very easily be just kind of, if you'll forgive the term, campy science fiction. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's why Tribbles are so beloved still to this day.
Right.
I mean,
it started off campy.
Yeah.
Like, the original series it's hard to watch now. It's so campy.
Oh, yeah. Western set.
Yeah.
Discarded.
the goatee, the goatee signifying, like, evil duplicates and stuff like that.
Mustache, I'm a villain.
Yeah, exactly. But let's branch out of Star Trek a little. I talked a little last week. I mentioned The Expanse.
I did not.
Oh man,
I'm so lame. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You definitely have to watch some. But The Expanse is fantastic. It is hard sci-fi, whereas like for me, Star Trek is more like not soft sci-fi, but it's looser sci-fi, where it's like, oh, there aren't enough dilithium crystal vapors in the compressor reactor or whatever. They kind of just come up with stuff, and then they throw it away for the next episode. Whereas The Expanse is a little bit more. It's meant to be more realistic and gritty. Like,
right.
It worries about things like gravity, artificial gravity, atmosphere, oxygen. Interesting side note for the show that hasn't shown up as a detail in the show, but is in the books. There's a lot of scenes where people are on these spaceships and they're shooting each other with guns, and you're like, why would you ever do that? And apparently in the books they established they use plastic bullets.
Oh.
But in the show they never mentioned that. And so it's like, okay, so that makes sense when you're watching certain parts of the show and like bullets are like bouncing off like the Mars Marines armor and stuff like that. You're like, but there's other stuff where you see like the Mars Marines armor getting shot and they're, bullets don't really care about the armor. It's because on ship they're all plastic bullets, so it makes more sense that way.
Shotguns with beanbags and plastic bullets. That's what space fighting is like going to be. I never actually thought about that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a good twist on it, and kind of lets you do gunfighting in space without having to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
Kashira says heart The Expanse. Ellie says it's a great show. Yeah, it really is good. And I think one of the things I like the most about it is that it takes kind of this hard sci-fi universe, and then introduces some stuff into it where it's like, okay, this is literally talking about like changing the rules, and it turns it into something that is a little bit more like loose, like high concept science fiction.
Okay.
Where it kind of takes away some of those rules and those operating parameters, which I think is great because it really, over the course of the first couple of seasons, you're like, okay, I'm invested in this. I know how their universe works, and holy shit, what is that? And it's a great moment that you have with the characters because you're so used to the rules of the setting. So I really love it. I think it's great.
So the premise is
that Mars, and it's however far in the future, Mars has been colonized. The Mars colonists have been working to establish an atmosphere and basically terraform Mars into a planet like Earth.
Right.
You've got Earth, of course, and then you've got the Belters. So basically there's the big asteroid belt in our solar system, and the Belters are people that were basically put to work out there harvesting different resources and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they're born in zero gravity on space stations and on ships and things like that. They are, suffering from a lot of different, ailments because of this. They have, they're really looked down upon by Mars and Earth alike. Earth thinks that Mars is a bunch of, crazy, borderline terrorists. Mars thinks that Earth is a bunch of soft, people who take everything they've got for granted. They don't really work for anything.
Yeah.
The Belters think that Mars and Earth are just, the despotic tyrants across the board. And so it's kind of looking at the relationships between these factions through the lens of the main cast.
Okay.
One of which is from Earth, one of which is from Mars, or two of which are from Earth, one is from Mars, one is from the Belt. And so it kind of just throws you in with some stuff happening, and I don't want to spoil too much because it really is an interesting reveal as you go.
Okay.
But
is it just humans then as a race?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's good. That's again kind of what makes it like hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have alien races and stuff in it.
Yeah. One of my I don't know if you're a fan of Dune or not. But,
I love Dune. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about it is that it's just humans, like,
right,
and it's the evolution of humans and the whatever. And I really like that concept. Yeah. That's really cool. I like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I will admit though, the only Dune I'm familiar with is the one with Sting and the metal thong.
That's perfectly fine. That's a fair representation. Although there's definitely a lot left out of the book. What's that?
He is. Patrick
Yes,
Stewart
he
plays
is.
Gurney. He's one of.
He's the same age. Like
I know. It's insane.
Yeah.
The man is either a wizard or a vampire or something. Like.
It's a bottling essence, just like Paul Rudd does.
Yeah.
Something.
Casher says Amos is my favorite, although at first I was not at all sure of him. I can agree with that. Yeah, Amos is a great character who at first you think is very one-dimensional, and you're like, I'm not going to like this guy. He's kind of an overly aggressive, violent jerk, and he really, like, he's so much deeper than that. And he's really well written, and the guy who plays him is fantastic. Ellie says, also change the rules a bit by having the Belters not tied down to all the same concerns that planet dwellers face. Yes, I can agree with that. That's another great thing is that the politics in the Expanse are done really well. They're ever evolving. Where one person might be like, okay, I'm going to do this for this reason, and I'm going to help these people for that reason. And then the next episode, they're like, okay, and now I'm going to help these people for a totally different reason. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's kind of Game of Thronesy in that sense,
right.
Although there isn't as much main character death as in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what it was kind of reminding me of. You were saying like the surprises and the rules change.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, something happened. What happened? I missed it.
We beeped.
We did beep it. I don't know what just happened.
There can be only one immortal. Man, going across the board here.
Yes, apparently Patrick Stewart is an immortal. I would not disagree with that. But yeah, Dune, fantastic. I love Dune.
I'm really excited for that reboot. The casting that they've been announcing is amazing. Although I will say,
I've heard some interesting stuff.
Yeah, the only character they haven't announced yet is the
Paul
character
Atreides.
they announced who's playing him.
Oh,
it's a I cannot remember his name. It's like Timothy Chalamet or something like that. He's a younger guy. I think that's his name.
Hold on one sec, folks. All right, my off-screen stage manager has reminded me to say hello to our new viewers because we're up to 7 folks watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you'll stick around, ask some questions, toss out some opinions. We're talking about sci-fi right now, and so sorry, which character has not been cast for Dune?
It's the character that Sting played, Fade Ratha.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
Like he's so crucial to the story, like more so in the book than he was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's really crucial to Paul becoming what he is.
Gotcha.
And like that's the character they haven't announced yet. I don't know if they're holding back for whatever reason, but like I'm really excited to see what they do with that because everybody else they casted, like that's an all-star cast. It's amazing.
Interesting. I have to look more into it. I haven't paid much attention to it. So
yeah.
But some other sci-fi. We're coming up on the 30-minute mark of this here, so we'll be ending this part and getting into Ravensdale writes comics in a minute. But my lovely wife mentioned at the beginning Stargate SG-1, or Stargate in general. Like it started with the movie. What was his name? David Spader.
Yeah.
Is that him? And
James Spader.
James Spader. Thank
yes.
you. James Spader and Michael
Kurt
Douglas.
Russell.
Kurt Russell. That's I always get Michael Douglas and Kurt Russell mixed up. Kurt Russell, James Spader, and great movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I went to see that movie in the theaters and was like, I need to see this movie 1,000 times. I also had a little bit of a an obsession with ancient Egypt at that point in time. So it was
Yeah.
mixed aliens and Egypt, so it was really cool for me. Did you ever watch the TV show?
I have, yes.
SG-1
Yeah.
is such good TV.
It went. I was actually kind of against it when it first was announced because I was like, they're gonna ruin this movie. Like
My sister and I
they
sat down and watched the first episode, and we were
Yeah.
like, "This is terrible! Oh my god!" And we turned it off, and I didn't watch it again
Yeah.
until I met Sarah. And then she was like, "Oh no, SG-1's amazing," and I was like, "All right, I guess we can watch it."
It did take a minute to
Hooked.
get going. Yeah, yeah.
Hooked. I loved it.
Yeah, so good. They expanded that universe in ways that I never thought possible. And like,
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of want another movie now, like a follow up.
Yeah. It's not quite the same without Richard Dean Anderson, though. Like,
Yeah.
Richard Dean Anderson is Colonel O'Neill more than Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's. Again, I love the movie. I liked his depiction.
Yeah.
But he was kind of. I don't want to get to name calling, but he was kind of like a meathead. Like, I mean,
He's a
he
bit
was,
bland.
he was literally there because
Yeah.
he wanted to die and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like Richard Dean Anderson did, like that character. There was so much to that character that hadn't come out in that movie, and it was
Yeah.
seriously, it's like part of the best thing about that.
I can agree.
Yeah.
Casher says, if we ever win the Mega Lottery, I'm commissioning a life-size Stargate. A working Stargate.
The working one. Yes.
That's funny. Oh, Giafat. Hey, how's it going? No, we have not brought up Babylon 5, but that is a great one.
Oh yeah.
Man, Babylon 5 was good sci-fi.
I'm really sad about Babylon 5 though because it didn't get the respect it deserved while it was happening.
It didn't.
And also the network it's on, like they're the worst. They just kill off everything. And I hate
What was it
It
on?
was on Fox as well.
Was
wasn't
it really?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
And like was it on Fox? Maybe I'm mixing it up. But yeah, there was a lot of amazing stuff that came out of that series
Yeah.
too.
I loved the telepaths. I loved the Shadow War. I loved, the different alien races. What were their names? The two main alien like diplomats that are always at each other's throat. Was it Jakar and Londo? Jakar and Londo. Londo was like the dude with like the big hairdo thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure those were their names.
Right.
Let me know if I'm wrong. But really good show. I loved. What was her name? Ivanova. She was the like. I don't know if she was the security chief or whatever, but she was one of the like main like fighter pilot characters. She was really cool. Garibaldi was good. Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a long time.
It's just a vague memory of these characters, but I loved them.
I don't know. I feel like they did a really good job of like.
The Centauri, that's right. Londo was one of the Centauri.
That
if
was
I
the
remember.
guy with the hair.
That was the guy with the
Okay,
hair,
okay.
yeah. And Jakar is kind of the guy he butted heads with. Oh, hi, Leia. You're okay, baby. You're such a good puppy. Sorry, I had to talk to the dog. But yeah, Babylon 5 was really good. It was really high sci-fi or soft sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, in that it had all the different alien races. The science was a backseat thing. They didn't really care. But I think in shows like that where you've got the different alien races kind of in play, I think the science has to take a backseat, because then all of a sudden you have to get into, well, how can all these different alien races breathe the same atmosphere? How can they talk to each other? How can
Right.
they eat the same foods? And, nerds will nitpick every little thing to death. I should know. I do it myself. But I don't think it works in kind of the higher concept sci-fi as a result.
Right.
So
I don't know. I don't know. It is funny, like, there's a spaceship in space, and like, an explosion happens, and you're mad that the explosion happened in space, but you're not like questioning the other stuff that's like completely, it's so
Right.
weird. But yeah, that's us nerds. That's what we do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make Leia go crazy. Narn. Oh yeah, the Narn. Is that what Giafet? Is that what Jakar's race was? The Narn, or were the Narns the ones with the big weird like helmet things? Like I said, it's been so long since I watched Babylon 5. I don't remember. Veer and Jakar. Yes, best frenemies. Yes, I can agree with that. It was a good show. But anyways, let's get into. Well, let's switch over So we've geeked out a little bit about some sci-fi. Let's get into the comic book writing side of things. So we're going to switch channels over to Ravensdale Writes Comics. Hopefully it made that transition smoothly. It did. Awesome. Oh, Cosmonaut 6 is following us now. Thank you very much for following, Cosmonaut. Sorry I missed that earlier. For some reason, our widget that tracks our followers was not showing up on our other screen, so apologies for that. But let me just change up the description of the stream. And we can still talk sci-fi stuff and chat about it. It's just not going to be the primary focus now. Art. Comics. Drawing. Original work. Character creation.
So I kind of want to move. You got your bird of prey.
There we go.
Got your Enterprise.
Uh-huh.
Then there's the next ship. We got to talk about that a little bit while we're.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So I'm not sure if any of you can, if you can all see it, but we've got our, I think it's David Sod art series. He does this great series of spaceships and stuff like that. Nigel Sod, thank you, Nigel Sod, and this is the one that caught my eye. Sarah bought it for me at San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago. And it's fantastic, but obviously Serenity, Firefly. Such a good series. Yeah. I really loved it. I'm bummed that it died the way it did. I don't think the movie Serenity is canon. I consider that to not be canon.
Okay.
Because honestly, I just look at that as that was just Joss Whedon throwing a little temper tantrum and deciding he was going to kill some characters off.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't going to be able to play with it anymore. Fox was going to keep the rights, so he kind of just said, screw you. And, like, I've actually lost some respect for Joss Whedon in recent years based on some of the stuff I've heard about him.
Right.
But I still love Firefly. So, I don't know about you.
No, yeah, I do love it. I was just kind of curious. I was actually going to ask you where the movie fit in for you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a fever dream. So,
all right.
And the thing with Miranda, like, it was such a letdown to the mystery of the Reapers and everything like that, and the way that, like, they had River turn into some crazy, like, assassin. Like, it's such a common thing with Joss Whedon's work is like the teenager, early 20s young woman,
female warrior,
who's had her mind messed with her, but is somehow like the legendary warrior or whatever. Like, get a new shtick, dude. Come on. Yeah. But anyways,
I feel bad for her for Summer Gayu. I think is how you pronounce
Summer
it.
Glau.
Summer Glau.
Yeah.
Like for a while there, every series she would show up in, canceled.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Same thing happened with, was it Dollhouse? No, which?
No, she was Elijah Dushku was the one in Dollhouse. She was in Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And then she was in something else too right after that.
Wait, Summer Glau was in Bring It On?
No, Elijah Dushku was.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, wait, what? That's
maybe
funny.
Bust out the pom poms. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's already been brought in.
Oh no.
Sorry, we've got into a completely different genre at this point.
Wait here. Back it up.
All right, let's see. Centauri with a weird hair and Narn with the lizard people. Yeah, that's right. That's for Babylon 5. Crap. Okay. Well, we'll have to talk to him about that later. Firefly's so good. Favorite character in Firefly, real quick, before we get into the comic.
Captain.
Mal? Shit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He was the heart of that, like, everything about it was him. I
agree. And Nathan Fillion did a great job of playing, like, the no-nonsense, I'm the captain, and my word is final, but also kind of like the goofy, lovable, like, you know, I'm only acting tough because I'm a super sensitive guy on the inside. I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion, for the longest time, might even still be like one of my biggest man crushes. like because of Malcolm Reynolds. He's just such a good character.
Honestly, though, every character in that show is amazing. You couldn't go wrong picking any of them.
Yeah. Yep. I love Kaylee.
Yeah.
Kaylee's fantastic. But Wash, like, I think has to be my favorite. Like, he's such the everyman in that, where he's just like, you know, he's not a fighter or anything like that. He's a really good pilot. He does his job well. He loves his wife.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He was probably my favorite character. But Mal comes a close second. Although Zoe's pretty cool too. You can't choose favorite characters.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Who's your favorite Firefly character?
Jane.
Wash, Zoe, and Jane were my faves. Yeah, Jane. I really like Jane. Sadly, Adam Baldwin turned out to be a complete jerk.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. So it kind of ruined Jane for me a little bit, but I still love the character as, like, if you just take the character from the show, he's awesome. The man they call Jane, the hero of Canton. Yes.
Great
so,
episode.
Yeah, it's a good episode. But yeah, man, that's not all the sci-fi. Like, the other ship we've got up there is the Normandy from Mass Effect, which is a great series. It's my favorite sci-fi franchise by far, my favorite video game franchise by far. It's a good thing we didn't get into it because we would have been here all night. But yeah, Mass Effect is good. So, yeah, I can't believe we went that whole time talking about Star Trek and I did not mention the the Enterprise and the Klingon bird of prey behind me. I'm being oblivious there. So, Cashier says, yes, Mass Effect. Shepherd Book, yes. Book was actually really cool. We actually, Sarah and I got the chance to meet Ron Glass at a Gen Con SoCal back in like 2008. And super nice guy. Actually, he was sitting in a booth area by himself. Like, I think it was before the convention fully opened.
Yeah.
Sarah and I just got our badges and we're wandering through, and we cut through this like empty area of booths, and he was just sitting there eating a sandwich, and I like froze when I saw him. I was like, I think that's Ron Glass. I think that's Shepherd Book. And Sarah was like, yeah, you should go say hi to him. I was like, I'm not gonna bother him while he's eating lunch. Let's just go. And he's like, oh, you can come on over.
That's cool.
Super nice guy. Went over and said hello, told him how much I loved his work, didn't bug him for an autograph, and left it.
Nice.
Very sad to hear that he passed away a couple years ago. That was really sad. So, but anyways, all right, let's get into the comic. So Samson has some stuff to share, and I'm going to move my screen just a touch so that he can do that unimpeded.
Yeah, I mean, this actually really isn't too much more than what you saw last week. So I did kind of throw in some blacks and stuff on this to darken it up. Page 1.
It really pops more on camera now that you've got the ink in there. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful them transferring it over to you to see it and do whatever. But yeah, page 1 again. All I did really was throw in some darker blacks in space. Same thing on this one. Tried to clean up this panel. Actually, I think this was only pencil last week, so maybe that makes a little bit more sense. And looking at this page now, I actually realize I need to switch a couple of things on it. In the first panel here, I have him on this side of the space shuttle. He needs to be actually on the opposite side of that. Because of the reflection I have in panel 1 or page 1. So I need to fix that a little bit. And then I got page 3 here, and I kind of took a little bit of a different approach on the funeral than what was written out in the pages.
Let me jump to that page just so everybody can see kind of what... This was page 3?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is what we were looking at for page 3 originally. I have to... Pardon me while I shift things just a little bit. There we go. So that's kind of what we were looking for page 3, panel 1 right there.
Yeah, so I tried doing a little bit of a different perspective on it. It's just kind of something that popped up while I was doodling, and I really wanted to try pulling it off. I'm liking it so far, but we'll have to see how it actually turns out. But basically the perspective is from inside of the grave at everybody at the funeral. So I don't know if that makes it a little too dark or whatever, but I kind of like the perspective shot of it.
No, I think it's good. Because whatever darkness there was there, like, would be in there, kind of like the the grim factor that would be there. It's kind of offset in the next couple of panels. So
Yeah.
it's showing like big events, like formative events in his early years, but kind of like doing it, at a rapid fire
Right.
pace. And then we get into the next page where we start focusing a little bit more on individual instances.
Right.
And I think it works well.
Yeah.
So Casher says it looks amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that's all I have inked, but I do have a lot more penciled.
Oh, let's see it.
So, page 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So those are. Hold on one second, folks. Let me.
Yeah, I can pull them individually, however you want me to set it up. It'll be easier to see.
Okay, so I kind of moved them over into frame a little bit better.
Okay.
So page 4 is in that upper left corner.
Yes, this one right here.
And that is.
It's the auto shop scene.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So page 4. This is where he tries using his strength to help and ends up kind of making a mess of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got to do a little bit of cleaning up in the bottom panel here because it is kind of wonky the way it is right now, but that'll be more with the ink. I just kind of needed to see where I was laying, like what I had laid out. So
Right. Nice. Okay, and then page 5. What are we looking at there?
So page 5 is the first flight, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I got him. It's kind of hard to see probably, but he's it's kind of like a extreme angle of him up in the air. He's kind of looking back. I'll probably draw like some tears coming out of his eyes or whatever because of like wind.
Right.
You can see like a light post and a garbage can with the street below him. So he's kind of just accelerating away from that.
Okay.
And then what I tried to do, and I don't know if I'm pulling it off, but I'll work on it. It's basically like him kind of like floating, flying, and then the camera's going to continually kind of get closer to him, but it's him kind of falling backwards.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like it's closer to him, and then he's kind of looking over his shoulder, and then he's kind of flipping around, and he's upside down, and then this last panel is him smashing back down to earth.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th panel here is him on a stretcher and 2 military police kind of holding his mom back very unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
She's kind of ripping through them to get to her son.
Right.
And then in the last panel here, he's going to be his legs cast up. He's got his arm in a cast, and he's sitting in a wheelchair, and then his mom's just kind of standing behind with her hand on his shoulder.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, and then panel 6.
Sorry, I was so engrossed in
No,
the layouts that I wasn't advancing the script so everybody can kind of see where we were at.
Oops.
So my bad. Sorry. And then let me move my screen over just a bit so we can see that a little better. Actually, can you move that page to the left a little bit?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me pull this stuff away.
Well, that's not what I wanted to do. All right, sorry for shifting the panels around, folks. Just trying to make sure it all fits in together. All right, go for it. What do we got?
Okay, so page 6, he's landing on top of a building, kind of ripping a little skylight off, jumping into the building, and then it shows him hopping out. You
Okay.
don't really get into too much what he's doing inside, but he is shoplifting, essentially,
Yep.
in off hours. And he has a friend waiting up top for him when he gets there. So this is a kind of important scene.
Yep.
And I've got to flesh it out a little bit more, but I'll be doing that today with ink while we're talking. So,
Nice.
and then, excuse me, page 7. This is
Okay.
Maelstrom standing on a cliff overlooking a forest. And again, I'll clean it up so it reads better. It's just important that I know what it is right now. You can
Yeah,
see
you guys are seeing very early stage
yes,
stuff,
very
sketches.
early stage
So.
stuff. Some birds and stuff flying away, lots of trees, mountains. It's basically like a really wide, think if you're standing at the edge of a Grand Canyon kind of looking type thing. And then next panel, we've got some deer and whatever rabbits, some birds fleeing the forest. And then the very bottom panel, again, Maelstrom shifted over and a mysterious figure having a conversation with her, and you can see smoke starting to rise out of the forest.
Nice. All right, cool.
And then I got page 8 started, but it's not done yet, so we won't even look at that right now.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's nice to see the pages coming together to match up with the script and everything like that. It's going to be really good to see, like, it's going to be really great when we're able to put up either inked or however, put all the pages up sequentially and kind of like scroll through them so that you guys can all see the way the story progresses visually as well as, you know, verbally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looks great. So you're going to focus on that?
Yeah, I'm going to start kind of inking these out and getting them darkened up so they read a little better so I can blow them up. Start getting them on a bigger paper.
Meow. Special guest, Ayla, one of our kitties.
The star, not a special guest.
Yeah, let's be honest. She's very much a prima donna, though. She only comes out of her trailer for very specific scenes. Hi. But let me know if you all need me to zoom the camera in on what Samson's working on, just so you know. Yeah, that's center frame right there.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, Sarah Grimm. Thanks very much for tuning in again. How are you? How was your week?
Hey.
You caught us a little bit more in the middle of the stream, so we're gonna be doing some work on the comic now. All right, so let's see. You know what, Ayla? Hold on a second. Doing fine, just kind of chilling? That's good. It's always good to chill. Everybody needs time to do that. If you all will excuse me for just a moment. Come here. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Come here. Oh, you're okay. This is Ayla. She's very pretty. Say hi to the people. There we go. See? So now for those of you who are wondering who has been meowing in the background in the last few streams, that's her. And now she's annoyed because I picked her up, so she's going to flounce off. But that's okay. I know. She's got beautiful eyes, doesn't she? Yes, she's just a beautiful cat in general. You can come back anytime, and I won't pick you up again. I'm sorry. I've committed a grave offense. Anyways. So, we had just finished writing page 11 last time, so we're getting into page 12. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm going to scroll back up one more time. We decided no dialogue there. We did some dialogue there. All right, cool. So now we are getting into page 12. This is where he, kind of lands, asks the fire crew if he can do anything to help, and then someone's going to say, oh, there's a person out in the fire, and he's going to rush off to go help them. Number of panels in this one, I'm not sure yet. We will figure that out. Yeah, she's pretty, yes. How dare you? I know. She definitely is going to talk to me about that later. It'll be on my performance review, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because you got to see her kind of close up, and she is beautiful. So it wasn't fair to keep her from to prevent the internet from seeing her beauty. Plus cats. I mean, the internet loves cats. So, all right. So panel 1. Near a handful of exhausted firefighters. So he's going to land near a handful of exhausted firefighters. Skepticlaw. Telling you, I typed great unless I've got people watching me. So the firefighters look skeptical and wary, but also appreciative. So we're just going to do a little bit of background chatter. I'm going to do a couple lines of this just to kind of keep, just to reflect their general responses. All right. Panic Roll says, I am here to serve the cat, not to parade her around." Yeah, that's probably true.
I saw a bumper sticker. It's the truth. Dogs think they're people. Cats think they're God.
Yeah,
That's...
I can see that. I've owned enough cats. Well, I've been a parent to enough cats in my life that that's definitely true. Casher says that's not a bad name for a villain. Skeptic Claw. He's a cynical, one-handed villain whose left arm was torn off by a radioactive lobster.
Must have been another shop teacher.
Must be another shop teacher thing. Casher, did you also have some sort of marine biology teacher who was missing an arm or something? That's good. I like that.
That is a good name, though, Skeptic Claw.
Skeptic Claw. All right. So there's that. I should have done this differently, but I did not. Rookie mistake. Let me go ahead and delete all this. Set myself up for another line.
Yeah, sorry, guys, if I'm bouncing this around a whole lot, but it's easier to move the paper than my arm.
Yeah, let us know if we need to adjust the camera a little bit, and that goes for you, the audience, and for you, Samson, as well. Yeah. So if you're like, oh, I need to put my arm in a different position or put the paper in a different spot, I can always adjust the camera.
Oh no, this is just how I draw. It's
okay.
Always moving the paper around.
Casher says maybe shop class in Canada is extreme. All right. Well, note to self: don't apply for a job as a shop teacher in Canada. Mm-hmm. Although it might not even meet the requirements. It might be necessary for you missing an arm and/or an eye. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. What are your qualifications? I taught shop for 20 years. Yeah, but how many limbs are you missing?
I don't know. He's got all 5 limbs. I don't know that, or 4 limbs. I don't know that I trust him. Being the head. All right. So let's see here.
Oh man, it's not easy. It's a lot of practice. You can do it. Anybody can do it if you just practice. But thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because I've had the same thought process about some of the artists that I've seen working, and it's like, oh man, I wish I could do what you do, and you make it look so easy. And I mean, it's because we're looking at a single moment in your long and probably frustrating at times, career.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In practicing for hours and hours and hours for years on end. And as much as I say I wish I could do what you do, I don't have the patience to put that kind of time in, and I'm okay with that. I've come to terms with that.
Right.
But you do make it look just like a breeze when you're going through and doing your stuff.
I'm just tracing right now, so this isn't...
Kashra, you know what? You don't have to bring up my vestigial tail, okay? Thank you very much. Jeez.
Wait, you don't have 5 limbs? What's going on?
All right.
I actually don't know if I want to admit this online. I don't think I'm going to. We'll just leave this alone. scientist, not Louis.
All right, so what's the opposite from a bird's eye view?
Worm's eye.
Worm's eye. Thank you.
Yep. The funnest of all the camera angles.
Alright, so at this point, Procyon's mom is going to see what's going on. Colonel Rockwell. Okay.
I'm not sure I'm actually liking this perspective on this one, but I'm going to keep going for right now.
Sorry for being so quiet, folks. I'm just trying to kind of focus. Fire Chilf? Just try to focus to get this page done real quick. Girl says he keeps trying to move my cursor. I know what you mean. I've done that before too. Like when I'm on a WebEx at work and someone else is presenting, I'll be like, I want to click on that thing, and I'll move my mouse trying to click on the thing I want to look at. So
That's funny.
I've definitely done that. That doesn't really work, does it? It doesn't. Hold on. Panel 5. Okay, panel 4. Fire chief looks at. He's holding radio and already sent his firefighters back in place. Chief on the radio. Stand by, boys. Get ready to gear up. Panel 5. Ah. I'm not sure how much I like this.
See what you got.
I'm gonna just tweak this so that it's not on multiple pages, because that kind of bugs me when that happens. Alright, there we go. Alright, so action summary. Procyon lands near a fire crew working to stop the spread of the fire. He asks if they need help elsewhere. They react with disbelief. Radio transmission comes from Colonel Rockwell in the helicopter above, reporting a lone civilian still in the forest, and Procyon flies off to help. So panel 1. Procyon lands gently near a handful of exhausted firefighters. The firefighters look skeptical and wary, but also appreciative. General chatter. Who is this guy? Good thing he showed up when he did. Does he think he is? Is he serious with the cape and the tights? You know, just general stuff. Panel 2. Procyon leans against a fire engine looking tired. His face and suit are discolored from ash and soot. Procyon. How's everything looking? Is everything clear? Fire chief. We're waiting for a final report. Panel 3, perspective, worm's eye view, looking up at a search and rescue helicopter. The helicopter's hovering near a column of smoke, tilting to one side so the pilot can get a visual on the ground below. Colonel Rockwell on the radio says, Chief, we've got one more civilian trapped in a clearing, about 4 clicks due north of your position. Fire chief looks at Procyon. Let me take that out. A little worried. He's holding his radio in one hand, ready to send his firefighters back into the blaze. Fire chief on radio. Stand by, boys. Get ready to gear up. Panel 5. Procyon pushes himself off the truck with a grunt. The fire chief puts one hand on Procyon's shoulder. You got one more in you, son? The fire chief says, and Procyon says, I'm on it, chief.
That works. I
Yeah.
like it. I think it's I like that we're showing like the exhaustion that they have to go through to fight a fire, because it's crazy what those guys have to put up with to do that. So
Yeah.
I think that's nice. That's in there. I don't know.
All right. I just feel like there's something missing from it. I'm not quite sure what. I might have to come back to it and look at it again. Land shows him kind of sitting back. Huh. I think it's fine. Let's go with it for now. I don't think it really needs to be nitpicked, but nothing wrong with circling back around and revisiting it next time. So page 13. Oh wait, hold on a sec. That was page 11 is 5 panels, and now page 12 is 5 panels. Grr. It's not that big a deal, right? Tell me it's not that big a deal.
Honestly, it's probably going to switch a little bit anyways, so...
That's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. Cool. All right, so let's do that, and then let's jump to page 13. All right, so Panel 1.
Thing thought it'd be towards me.
So kind of one thing for page 13, the first couple panels. The first one is him flying away from the firefighters, and the next panel is him landing like in the clearing. It'd be kind of cool if we could have kind of like the same arc for takeoff as the arc for the landing, so that it looks like it's just a continual thing, even though there's a border between them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Make a note of that. Alright, and then we can kind of skip any dialogue there. Let's do that. This is panel 3. Panic Roll asks how many pages we're expecting this to be. So, as a general rule, I think standard comic books are anywhere between 22 and 26 pages, right around there.
Yeah.
I think we're aiming for this to be right in that same area. I think 22 pages is probably more likely.
Yeah.
But it all depends on kind of the ultimate pacing and stuff like that. Like, I feel like this one, or I just feel like the origin issues for all the characters in general will probably be a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So closer to like 22. Just because of the limitations of trying to tell an origin story in one comic book issue, where we're trying to avoid having too much, backstory that people don't know about, and too many things that we have to explain and whatnot. So probably 22 pages ish.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be kind of cool to leave it kind of vague to their backstory, just because later on we can make reference to stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be in the origin story.
Right.
So I do like the brevity and the kind of to the point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Showing the really key kind of milestones, but not writing so much and giving out so much that we can't, fit something in later on down the road.
Right.
Because then you run into the DC Comics problem where you have to retcon everything and rewrite your universe's origin story 1,000 times. And it sounded like me throwing shade at DC, because I am. They reboot way too much.
What are you talking about? This is their last and final reboot right now. I promise. This year.
Yeah, exactly. I say that, but I do quite like DC Comics and their characters and stuff like that. It just, woof. It can be difficult to be like, okay, wait, this is the Golden Age version of the character, which means that their backstory was this, and their alias is this, but then they're meeting their Silver Age version of the character, and so they've got a different name and a different backstory and different powers, and like, oh man, it's tough to keep track of. Speaking of, Sarah and I just went and watched Shazam this last weekend. I gotta say, that is an awesome movie. But that is also a character that is plagued with some retconning and, identity issues and stuff like that. So,
well, I mean, just the origin of how he came to be, how he came to be at DC.
Yeah. And then the name, like the rights to the name
Right.
transferring over. And
which it's kind of poetic justice that it came out a month away from Captain Marvel. Like, just they're
like Captain Marvel and
tied.
Shazam right at the same time. Yeah. I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I kind of hope they did, because if they did, that's an executive who's both smart and a comic book nerd.
Yeah.
But anyways, hello to any new viewers that have just chimed in. Thank you very much for joining us. Saw our viewer count shift a little bit. So I'm Ben, this is Samson, and we are writing a comic book for our comic series, I guess.
Right.
Tied into our board game that is superhero themed.
We're writing a comic for a comic.
Yeah, we're writing a comic for our comic.
Yeah.
We're writing an issue of our comic for our comic series. That's a better way of putting it. The main character is Procyon in this particular issue. He has a suite of different powers, and he gets them in a slightly different way, and they work slightly differently than other superheroes. If you stick around and you want to know, feel free to ask. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep writing.
And I'll keep drawing.
Exactly. We're just going to keep doing our things. All right, so let me actually get into this a little bit more. So Procyon lands. So that's going to be a picture there. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do.
There's a bug outside the window.
Cats, man. All right, so Procyon lands in an open clearing. And ring the clearing, and smoke billows upward. Leave that comment in there. So perspective. Looking over Procyon's shoulder. Saragrim, well, I should go to sleep. I'll see you next stream. Get good sleep. Hope that you wake up well rested, and we will see you next Monday. Thanks very much for following.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, for tuning in. Next week, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them our way. Oh, actually, Saragrim, before you leave, let us know what you think we should geek out about next week. Let me know if you have any thoughts. I'm thinking Shazam, Joker, Hellboy, because they're comic book movies that just came out, but, you know, we're open to suggestions. So if you have any thoughts, let us know.
Endgame is this month too, huh?
2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? That's the 20. Comes out the 26th. So.
Yeah, I didn't buy tickets yet. I'm probably not going to see that open tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I need to. Actually, I was supposed to see it with my buddy Eric, but he says the latest he wants to see it is 9. I don't know if there are any seats left for a 9 o'clock showing. We'll have to see. Ollie, you're okay, buddy. All right. So, an indistinct figure is standing across the clearing, shrouded by the smoke. Procyon holds one hand up as if to ward off the heat from the flames. What is... So, at this point we kind of have to, like, get into who this person is, or at least the nature of this person's powers, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
got to happen.
It's not a pillar, it's more of a column. doing that. There we go. All right, so the figure extends an arm, an arm. A column of stone just erupts under Procyon's feet, cracks him in the chin, and knocks him to the ground. I'm going to say knocks him to the ground, so I'm not repeating the word feet twice in 2 sentences, because that bugs me. Even though it's not going to matter, because the audience isn't going to ultimately see the script, it still bugs me.
Oh, hey, Panicroll. Procyon is the powerhouse character from the game.
Yeah, that's correct. Wrong button. Yes, that's correct. So did you mention which hero from the game Procyon is? Yeah, he is the powerhouse. I think we've got a picture of him somewhere. Yeah. There we go. That's him. The powerhouse. At this point in time, he is a little bit younger than he appears in the image for the game, or in the card art for the game. He doesn't have the mustache just yet, so
no mustache power just yet.
Yeah, no. What's his name? I want to say Quantum Leap. That's not right. It's not Hawaii 5-0.
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI. Thank you. No Magnum PI powers just yet. Yeah, he's got some screen presence with that mustache. So
there's not enough mustaches in comics,
right? Do we have a name for this guy yet? I don't think we do. Bad guy. We're just gonna call him Bad Guy for right now. What's going on with that? I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, I'm going to worry about it. It's bugging me, but it's fine. I'm just going to leave it alone. Why? It's fine. It's cool.
Why won't you cooperate?
Yeah, seriously. Google Docs is just not cooperating with me. Like, how obvious is it that Procyon is still a young guy at this point? Because he's still, like, late teens, right? Like 18, 19?
Yeah.
All right. 4 panels. I think that's not 34 panels. 4 panels. I think that's good for this particular page. I think that covers everything we needed it to. So Procyon lands. He sees the figure in the smoke. He's kind of like trying to ward off the heat from the flames. He says, "Hey, buddy, let's get you out of here." Figure extends an arm. A column of stone erupts under Procyon's feet, hits him in the chin, knocks him to the ground. Bad guy says, "Sorry, kid, we need to keep this fire hot just a little longer." Because this particular guy is not... He's not, like, evil, this particular villain. He's calculating, yes, but he's not, like... He's not, like, sadistic or ruthless or anything like that.
Right.
So...
I see it more like he's got a job to do and that you're not stopping him from doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we want to show the artwork for this guy and reveal who he is?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the character that we're bringing in is a character that actually gets a lot of play in the game, and that is definitely a pun, and I'm going to definitely take credit for it. But he kind of is behind the scenes, kind of subtle. People don't really pay much attention to him, I don't think. And he is He is the guy on the defense card. So he is not yet in this form in the comic. He is kind of like Procyon. He's still in like one of his early stages, his beta phase, you might say. his 1.0
Yeah.
form, before he is kind of fully powered up. So he can still control Earth and stuff like that, but he doesn't have like the big, muscular, like, crazy bad guy physique yet. So this is the guy that kind of is going up against Procyon for the very first time. And we don't have a name for him yet. So in chat, if you have suggestions for a character who can kind of manipulate Earth and stuff like that, go ahead and throw those out there. We could do like Igneous Rock. We could do... Actually, Igneous is kind of good. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to write that down as a possibility. Scroll back up to the notes section. Man, Google Docs just does not want to cooperate with me right now. Igneous. Earthquake. So I would like to use Earthquake, but I'm almost positive that Earthquake has been used in comic books before. So there's Quake, Daisy Johnson. She's in Marvel Comics.
Also in S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a DC character named Earthquake, too.
I think her name's Terra. She's one
So
of the
there's
two Titans.
Terra, but I think there's also an Earthquake.
Is there?
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
All right, might be right.
I know in Marvel Comics there's another mutant named Avalanche who has, like... He actually can control Earth and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Daisy, she just, like, does, like, these crazy vibrational powers or whatever. So... Pyroclast. Ground to Strike. Pyroclast is kind of a cool one. Although he doesn't really do fire. He just does the rock. So Pyroclast might be a bit of a misnomer. I don't see any immediate results for a superhero named Pyroclast, but it's a good one, actually. Now I want to use that for something else. Hold on a second.
And another character, isn't there? This is how it happens.
Right? People throw out names, and then I'm like, okay, what powers would go with that name? Stone Shatter, Metamorph, Earth Wave. That's something else entirely. Groundswell, Stone Shatter, Shatterstone. Shatterstone has to be a... So I tweaked your suggestion a bit there, Panic Roll, to Shatterstone. I think I kind of like that one. That one's kind of cool. Earthwave, Groundswell, Pyroclast. I think Ground Strike. Tell you what, we're not going to make a decision tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to put together a poll, and then next week we can vote on it.
Good idea.
So
I like
that way we can solve this once and for all in a democratic fashion, with the understanding that I might veto all of them and make my own decision. I'm kidding. The Last Earthbender. Now we're just getting into copyright infringement territory there, Panic Roll. That's not even subtle at that point.
He's gonna go get a tattoo of an arrow on his head.
Yeah, we don't want to face, the worst villain that Shazam ever faced, the copyright infringement lawyers. They made him change his name entirely.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I think we'll do it between Igneous and Shatterstone. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I like both of those. Those are both good.
I like pyroclast as well. I think it's a really good word, and I think it's great for a character name.
Right.
But I don't know who it should be.
Definitely a fire guy.
Yeah, definitely a fire guy.
Or girl, or...
Well, yeah,
being,
fire character.
Yeah.
Like a fire-based character. Do we have any fire-based characters?
No.
I don't think we do.
Probably not.
Well, we've got the lunatic.
Oh, this is true. Oh, that's actually a really good name for that. I like
Right?
that. Yeah.
Because pyroclast, it's like a...
Who threw that one out?
It's a violent... Kashura did.
Nice.
So... The Cambrian Crusher. Landslide. See, I like Landslide Panic Roll, but that's too close to Avalanche, which is, again, that Marvel character that can manipulate Earth. And so I think it's just a little bit... That's a little bit...
Can't do Landslide. I actually love that song, and every time I hear that word, it just starts playing. The Fleetwood Mac Landslide. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all.
I'm sure I've heard it, but...
Yeah, we can't do that. I'll never get anything done. I'll start singing.
All right.
Nobody wants that. Trust me.
Earthshock. All right, we'll put that one in there. But... Lunatic. Hold on a second. So this is one of the problems with tuning in to watch someone write a comic as well as draw a comic, is every once in a while you're going to have to deal with people, doing a little bit of research while you are watching. So pyroclast, any volcanic fragment hurled through the air by volcanic activity. So it actually could be a rock. It doesn't specifically have to be fire, although there is kind of the inherent indication of heat. I don't think it's strictly necessary. So,
I mean, you could kind of retcon the character too, where he's pulling up a little bit of lava, like maybe like molten rock type thing.
I mean, that's true. We haven't really.
I feel like that kind of limits him, though.
How so?
Well, I mean, that just pulling up rock. You could be like in a quarry or something and just have ammo. And I feel like if you're pulling up the molten lava, although I really do like it, it seems like it's going to take him a minute to dig that up. It's not.
I mean, it's possible you can do both.
That's true.
Because pyroclast it can be rock, it can be lava.
Yeah.
I mean,
that might be kind of cool. Maybe he has a.
Panic Girl says pyroclastic flow is usually hot gases, hot rock, and hot mud. So yeah,
that works.
All right. So let's toss pyroclast in there. I think we should do a vote of 3. So everybody, let us know. Which let's do Igneous Shatterstone and Pyroclast. I think those are the 3 best ones. So next week we'll put together a poll and we can vote on it then. And kind of figure that out. If Pyroclast doesn't get used here, it might be worth using for the Lunatic, because we could definitely thematically tie that in.
Yeah.
I think that name works pretty well. Can you vote for all 3? I mean, I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to set it up as a rank order poll. So rather than just getting one vote, you get to say, I like this one the most, then this one, then this one. And we'll kind of compare that way.
Show up next week, like 15 votes.
Exactly. How is that possible? All right, so we'll come up with the name of the bad guy later, but it is... Ooh, it's 8:30 something. 8:30 something?
Oh, wow.
8:38, yeah.
So fast.
I know, right? But we got 2 pages written. Yeah, we got 2 pages written. Samson's working on some art over there. Let's actually check in with Samson and see what he's working on. Now, Panic Roll says go 20 more minutes. I mean, might as well go till 9, I guess.
Sure.
Panic Roll, you're a bad influence. I'm going to move the script panel over just a little bit so everybody can see what Samson's working on a little bit better. And let's see what we got.
So I kind of got page 4 inked in. This car has fallen way too far for what is going on here. So I'm actually kind of just trying to figure out how it should look. And so I'm just kind of fleshing out the damage that would happen from a block break in here. And then I will probably somehow magically combine these with Photoshop to make it fit. And then, yeah. So this one's probably going to be like 2 different pieces that get thrown together.
Witchcraft.
Yes. I am a digital wizard.
Digital wizard. Man, that's like... I think that's the job description I always wanted when I was a kid. Alright. So, you want to go 20 more minutes, huh? I don't necessarily want to keep writing. Just because I don't want to keep working at a pace that is going to be difficult to keep up with for Samson.
We do got to do a drawing.
Oh crap! You're right. How did I forget that? So yeah, we hit 50 followers, and we did say that we were going to do 50 followers. Yeah, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. We did say that we were going to do a drawing once we hit 50 followers. Why are you so tiny? You're a tiny little thing. There we go. We did say that we were going to do a drawing for our raffle thing at 50 followers and then every 25 followers thereafter. So we are going to have to do one of those. So let me pull a couple things up. I was thinking about it as I was setting up the cameras and everything. I was like, oh, we've got to do that drawing. And then I completely spaced it. So where are we at? I need to look at this so that I can look at this. Huh, that's weird. How many followers did I say we were up to earlier?
I thought you said 50.
54, right?
Yeah.
We had one more follower join us today, and then now we're
Nice.
down to 53, so I don't know where we're at.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on. So... J. King plays... North Cartel. Oh, wait. Cheeky Ellie, Kitty Riot. Saragram. BK Diaz. Treasure roll. Sky Viper 86. Alright, and then Cosmonaut 6. Also joined us, so there's that. All right. I'm sure there's a widget or something that I can set up that will allow us to, as soon as these people chat or follow us or whatever, it automatically adds them to this drawing. But I'm not sure how to do that yet. So once I figure it out, this will be much easier. But for right now, we're going to do it this way. And then let's see, we had, so Cheeky Ellie, Saragram, Geofat chatted, anybody else? I think that is it. Alright, so now it is time for the random number generator. $38. That would be Saragram, who
Nice.
just joined us last week. So that is awesome. Congratulations to Sarah Grimm for the win. You're gonna get a couple or a set of our stickers that you can see up on screen there. The 4 chibi stickers on the right. You're gonna get one of our little manipulator pins, the dude right in the middle with the swirly eyes and whatnot. And you're gonna get a piece of artwork from Samson that is original, unique, custom, or not custom, but concept artwork from either the game or the comic. I'm not sure which piece we are looking at possibly giving away. So the 3 from WonderCon have already been, assigned, but
yeah,
I don't know what other pieces you've got.
We got plenty. Maybe. I think maybe we could do one of the concept piece from the game would probably be a good thing to do.
Okay.
But I'm not sure which one because there are a lot. So I don't know. We can figure that out. Yeah.
Well, I'll send a message to Sarah Grimm so that she knows she won. Assuming it's that Sarah Grimm is she. Apologies if that's not the case. But I will send a message. We will take a look, and depending on which ones we find, we may offer a choice of which one you get.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye out for that message. Actually, I'm going to send that now because otherwise... Sarah Grimm. Is that her? Yes, that's her. Hello. All right, message sent. So the lucky winner has been informed. Yes, chibi is Japanese, denotes small, cute characters. Captain America is shrink him down to toddler size and proportions. That's chibi. Yeah, basically. Like a pop figurine. Yeah, also pretty accurate. So awesome. That is our first official raffle that comes with art and everything like that. Once we hit 75 followers, we will do another one. So tell your friends, let them know. You can either follow us on Twitch, you can chat with us on our stream, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, assuming that you are set to public subscriptions. You can comment on our YouTube videos. All of those things will earn you an entry, basically 1 chat per video or live stream, and you'll get 1 entry. You can't get multiple entries for multiple chats, or multiple comments, I should say. But yeah, hopefully you will follow along and let your friends know. Knock them over the head, sign in on their accounts. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Do that. And yeah, so that's that. But we still have a few minutes left, so I say we do a bit of a geek out.
Yay.
So we've got the time. Let's talk more about this Joker thing.
Okay.
What else is there to say? Like, the Joker is one of those weird villains where, like, he doesn't have superpowers, and so you basically end up with this character who's essentially you're looking at like Taxi Driver, all over again. It's a dude who goes nuts, presumably with a gun, maybe with a bomb, with knives, whatever they decide to do with it. And he's not really going to be able to, like, he won't be able to fly or punch a building in half or anything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they roll with him making the transition from Arthur into the Joker.
Right. I hate that it's an origin story because, I just don't want that for the Joker. But what I heard for a rumor for a while was that it was actually going to be about his father. And they haven't really clarified yes or no if that's the case. So I'm kind of curious to see if maybe that's the route they're going. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in it that's really amazing. Like, I love in the trailer there's a scene where spoilers if you haven't watched it. where he's sitting in the subway and he gets beat up.
Yeah.
And he's just laughing. Like, to me, that was pretty Joker-esque.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to build on that kind of stuff to make it, and then he's just going to do some kind of weird revenge thing or something. I don't know, but I'm definitely watching it. It piqued my interest enough to watch it, so...
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm very intrigued by everything they've got going on there. I feel like the father angle would be very interesting if they decided to run with it that way. Another thing that would be really interesting is if I'm not saying this is the case, but it would be kind of cool if it turned out that he wasn't the Joker, but if he's going through all this stuff and the Joker is like manipulating him, like the Joker, for whatever reason, because he's like a stand-up comic and a clown and everything like that, the Joker is there kind of just pushing him.
Yeah. Like
watching all these things happen, all this stuff happen to him, and just kind of pushing him to do something that the Joker would do.
Right.
Like, that would be another kind of interesting take on it, to show that, you know, the Joker is just as interested in ruining one individual random person as he is in destroying Gotham.
Yeah, and I think that would fit him very well, too.
Yeah.
There's kind of a little bit of a hint of something bigger, too, because I don't know if it's his character that's inspiring it, but it looks like in the trailer you start seeing other people dressed as clowns.
Right.
So maybe there is some kind of angle that they're playing with that. I don't know. Because that was kind of interesting to see. Like,
yeah,
he's inspiring people.
I noticed that, and I was like, but why would people, like, what does he have to offer, for lack of a better term? What does he have to offer that would make people start taking on that, like,
right, that
clown, like, facade, the mask,
right,
when they're out protesting or rioting or doing whatever it is they're doing?
Which could also dangerously be the whole kind of he's a hero thing. I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if Batman's going to show up.
I don't know. Like, I think it's too early for the Joker. Well, and here's another problem. Actually, that I didn't even think about this. The other problem with this as an origin movie is that it takes place in Gotham. If that's the case, Bruce Wayne, Batman, would be able to figure out who the Joker was before becoming the Joker like that.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't take that much effort, because there would be people who would recognize him, there would be surveillance of him, there would be, you know,
that's true.
Records.
The Joker's like one of the only characters in comics where he's never had another persona or you know, an alias or whatever, and I don't know that it matters if he did. Like, does it really change anything? Or
that's my point. Is like, I think it does change something, because that's one of the things about the Joker that makes him one of Batman's best enemies, if not the best enemy, is that Batman has no idea who this person was before they became who they are.
Right.
Like, this, we're talking about a guy who, according to the comic books, and this is a little bit overblown, don't get me wrong, like, he literally has planned for every contingency should any other superheroes go evil. He has all kinds of backup plans for if one particular villain gains the upper hand in a situation, how he's going to beat them. He anticipates everything, he plans everything, he can find anything, he can investigate everything.
Yeah.
Like, to then turn around and be like, oh, here's this guy that you can't track him down.
Yeah.
It begs the question of, is the Joker a real person?
Yeah.
Because the Joker survives some stuff that you shouldn't be able to survive if you're just a random person in the DC universe. And so that's why I like to think of him as more of like this force of nature. He's you know, insanity and chaos and violence and anger and wanton destruction given physical form.
Yeah.
He doesn't abide by the rules of a physical body traditionally.
Right.
So that's why I feel like him living in Gotham, I mean, there's no reason Batman wouldn't be able to track him down, figure out who his family is, and determine like how to anticipate what he does.
Right.
Because once you know why he became the Joker, you can anticipate what he's going to do in a situation.
Yeah.
which
That's true.
is it was just anathema to what the Joker is.
Yeah.
People are horrible and love an excuse to create chaos. He's simply inciting them to let their inner psychopath out. And yeah, and that could be the case. I just don't see a mousy stand-up comic having that level of charisma.
Right.
Once he goes crazy to get people to do that. I mean, I guess maybe if they see him, commit some horribly violent act against an authority figure on camera, then they might take that as kind of like a rallying symbol. But
even then, though, I think he would need to kind of state a purpose or something. There would have to be some kind of like mission statement.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, for them to really kind of rally behind it, because I mean, people see videos with violence all the time, and I don't think that it inspires them. I mean, there was that whole weird clown thing that was going on a couple of years ago where people were dressing up as clowns and showing up, and that didn't really go...
hanging out in neighborhoods and being creepy. Yeah.
So I don't know.
So another thing that I was just thinking about, it slipped my mind, was there's inner psychopath out. But so that's why I was thinking that like it would be kind of interesting if the route they took is that this is not Joaquin Phoenix is not the Joker, right? He is just a person that the Joker has decided he's going to give, as he says in The Dark Knight, all he needs is a little push, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, I'm going to give this guy a little bit of a push. And maybe this is early Joker. He's there, he's in the background, nobody really knows who he is.
Awesome, actually. I really like this.
Yeah, so you could have him like literally kind of sitting back like in the shadows, and you can see him talking to Arthur, goading him into stuff,
right.
Mocking him, making him angry, whatever. And then Arthur goes off, probably doesn't survive his little stint into Jokerism, but kind of gives rise to the legend type of thing.
One thing that I really did like, though, and I mean,
that's how I would write it anyways. Sorry.
No, that's awesome. I like that idea. The makeup that they had him wearing was the same makeup from the mask that the Joker wore when they were robbing the bank in Dark Knight.
I thought about that. I looked at it and was like, that looks really familiar.
Yeah, I really like that. Like, they're kind of connecting it that way. So maybe there is something to that. Maybe.
But even the masks, even like the makeup or the mask of the one guy in the crowd when he pushes the police officer, that mask that he's wearing, that's also reminiscent. Like, I'm pretty sure it might have been one of the masks from The Dark Knight as well. I could be wrong. Because I remember looking at that and going, like, that looks really, like, similar.
But like, at the end of the trailer when he comes walking out and throws the mask down, the makeup he's wearing is the one when he came in the school bus. And
right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a kind of interesting connection that they made.
Either that or all clowns just look alike. Is that racist? I think it might be a little bit
racist.
You're clownist, yeah. But anyways, I still think it's gonna be good. I just there's got to be something else to it that they haven't shown off yet.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, like.
Yeah, I've kind of been checked out on DC stuff. So I haven't really been getting too much into like production notes and whatever and all that stuff. And I don't really like doing that stuff anyways because spoilers.
Right.
But I am curious. I don't even know who's directing this. Like,
that's a good question. I don't know.
I need to look that up because I mean from what I've seen, it looks amazing. I just don't know if I like the angle they're playing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So let's shift direction slightly here in the last couple minutes. Hellboy.
So excited.
Yeah?
But I'm also skeptical, and I hate them. Like, I love her, she's great, whatever. Fifth Element, she's awesome, Lulu. But she's horrible.
Who is she?
Mila Jovovich.
Oh, Mia. Yeah. Who is she in the movie?
She's the main villain. And I'm kind of worried about it because I think she's kind of... Like, her acting's kind of over too much, like over the top sometimes, and I'm a little bit worried about her. So that's the only thing I'm holding back. I really love the what is his name? He played Son in Lost. Daniel Kim, is that right? From Hawaii Five-0.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I love the way his character looks. Now he morphs into that weird animal thing that looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I like Hellboy a lot. So.
Yeah, I like the movies with Ron Perlman. The first one more so than the second one. I'm kind of intrigued by this one. I like that it's the sheriff from Stranger Things as Hellboy. I think that's a really cool casting choice. But some of the early previews that I saw for it, every time he talked, he sounded like he was mumbling. Like the prosthetics couldn't quite let him speak fully. And it really kind of threw me off. Like, it made it difficult to watch the preview. Yeah. And I feel like it's gotten better in some of the later ones, so maybe they've gone through and, like, redubbed his lines so they got rid of that issue. Yeah. But it just, I don't know, it just, something about it kind of, from the very beginning, kind of put me off on the wrong foot. So I'm definitely intrigued, and I'll probably see it, but I don't know. It's not one I'm as excited about.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Perlman is definitive. Like, the look that he had for Hellboy was just amazing. It was like directly out of the comic. And seeing
the bigger upper body and like the smaller, like the scrawnier like legs and everything like that. Yeah.
Plus, too, he was like more rounded than this one. Like, he had like the jaw that Hellboy has, and on this particular one, he's like kind of got those like sharp like cheekbones.
I think those are the prosthetics that might have prevented him from speaking fully. Panic Girl says, I like that this is a darker Hellboy. Yeah, I definitely got that from it. It definitely looks not as... Not that the first one was super kid-friendly, but, you know, this one looks like it's a little bit more adult-oriented, so...
Yeah, it's, one thing that's kind of interesting, too, is, like, the creatures from the trailer are reminiscent of the weird, like, Angel of Death character from the second one. Like, they have that weird kind of, like, bone protrusion skull thing that's going on. So I'm kind of curious to see how they do that too, because it looks like they're kind of keeping some of the same aesthetic. From
I can see that
the previous movie.
And I mean, Guillermo del Toro did the first couple movies, and he's got that look and that vibe down. Yeah. So you can't argue with that. It'll be hard to top that aspect of it. But as far as Mia Jovovich playing the bad guy, someone in my family has actually worked with her on film, and apparently she's kind of a jerk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So. Kind of unfortunate because I love The Fifth Element.
Right, that's what I said. Lily was amazing, but yeah, I mean, like the whole Resident Evil franchise thing was kind of, and then she did like a vampire thing. I think it's called Ultraviolet.
I was gonna say that
it's horrible.
The Resident Evil movies went off the rails quick, but I don't think they were ever on the rails. They were always pretty bad movies.
Yeah, but her character was.
Panic Girl, have a good night. Give Leia a pet for me. Hopefully she's not freaking out too much now. She is adorable. But actually that brings us to 9 o'clock on the dot. So I think it is time for us to say adieu until Wednesday when Sarah and I are going to be playing some video games. And then you'll see Samson again next Monday when we do another Ravensdale Writes Comics. This weekend is Kingdom Con, so if you're in the San Diego area, we highly, highly recommend checking it out. It's the 10th and final Kingdom Con, so very sad that it's going away, but you get the chance to go experience it before it does. So check that out. Hopefully we will see you there. We'll be in the board game area showing off the game the entire weekend. Thursday evening and then the rest of the weekend. We won't be there Thursday during the day. Follow us on Instagram. You can find our stuff if you scroll down from the video here in Twitch. You'll find banner icons you can click on. It'll take you to our accounts. Samson is at sour_muse on Instagram, so definitely check him out. Give him a follow. You'll see all kinds of different art and cool stuff coming from him. And anything?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks again very much for tuning in. We will see you all next time.
See you guys.